Long ago, there lived a man known as Tawara Toda, my lord bag of rice. His true name was Fujiwara Hidesoto, and there is a very interesting story of how he came to change his name.
Was it you that called me just now?
Yes, it was I. I have an earnest request of you. Do you think you can grant it to me?
If it is in my power to do, I will.
I am the Dragon King of the lake, and my home is in these waters, just under the bridge.
And what is it you have to ask of me?
I want you to kill my mortal enemy, the Centipede.
The Dragon King points to the high peak in the mountains and tells a dark story. Night after night, the centipede comes to kill his family. Powerless to save him, he worries that he will also become a victim.
I beg you, have pity on me. Will you help me kill my enemy, the Centipede?
I will help you, Dragon King.
Splendid! Come, we must prepare.
Once they step underneath the waters, Fujiwara looks upon a magnificent palace made from white marble. A grand feast is prepared for Fujiwara.
The Centipede! Those two balls of fire are its eyes. It is coming.
Don't be afraid. I will kill the beast. Bring me my bow and arrows.
The Dragon King abides by Fujiwara's wishes and brings him the bow. Fujiwara notices that there are only 3 arrows left in his quiver. Instead of penetrating, however, the arrow glanced off harmlessly and fell to the ground. Once again, the arrow hits its mark but glanced off the centipede's head harmlessly. Then, Fujiwara remembered that centipedes are weak to human saliva. Despite the Dragon King's wishes, Fujiwara decided to return home. The men put down their gifts and disappeared. They gave him many gifts, including a bag of rice. With the never-ending supply, he became a rich man because he never needed food. From here on out, he is known as Tuar Toto, or my lord bag of rice. The brave warrior lives happily ever after.
Long ago, during the Great Japanese Dynasty, Emperor Kyoku's second son, Prince Yamato Taki, was born. Destined to be a great warrior, he showed remarkable strength, wisdom, and courage far beyond his years. He would quickly win his father's favor and affection. Eventually surpassing his brother, he became the emperor's favorite child. 16-year-old Yamato, now a man in the eyes of the law, quickly became a formidable warrior. His father knew he was ready to face the rival chief brothers, Kumasu and Takaru, the only threat that challenged his throne. "My son, I have a great mission that I must bestow upon you. You must travel to the village of Kyushu, where my enemies plot to overtake the throne. Slay the chief brothers, bring honor to your family, and return home for celebration." The prince set off to pray to the Shrine of Eyes for good luck before embarking on his quest. While praying, his aunt, Princess Yamato, comes to wish him farewell.
"What a great honor you will bring to our family, young prince. I beg that you take my silk robe with you on your journey as a keepsake for good luck and safekeeping. Return to us victorious."
It took several days for the prince and his escort to make their way into the southern island. They were met with great obstacles. The mountains were high and steep, the valleys dark and deep, and huge trees and boulders of rock blocked up the road and stopped the progress of his army. It was all but impossible to go on. Though the prince was but a youth, he had the wisdom of years, and seeing that it was vain to try and lead his men further, he said to himself,
"To attempt to fight a battle in this impassable country, unknown to my men, only makes my task harder. It is wiser for me to resort to stratagem and come upon my enemies unaware. Men, let's set up camp."
Inside his tent, Prince Yamato instructs his wife to dress him in his robe.
"My wife, in order to defeat our enemies, I must disguise myself as someone unthreatening. I must ask of you to transform me into a beautiful woman, much like yourself, so I may attack my enemies at their most vulnerable state."
Princess Otabana transformed the prince into a beautifully unrecognizable woman. Donning his gifted silk robe and brushing his long hair down with jewelry, the prince himself was stunned by her work.
"You honor me, Oto Chaibana. I shall one day bless you with daughters more beautiful than you or I. I bid you farewell."
With his plan in motion, Prince Yamato set out to the chief's headquarters. In the folds of his silk gown next to his heart lay hidden a sharp dagger. Charmed to distraction by the girl's loveliness, Kumasu drank cup after cup for the pleasure of seeing her pour it out for him. till at last he was quite overcome with the quantity he had drunk. Suddenly, Prince Yamato seized the sated and astonished Kumasu and quickly took him out. Takaru was terror-struck as soon as he saw what was happening. He tried to escape, but Prince Yamato was far too quick for him. Subduing him before he could escape, a dagger flashed before his eyes as he lay onto the earth in agony.
Wait one moment.
Why should I pause, thou villain?
Tell me from whence you come, and who I have the honor of addressing.
I am the son of the Emperor Giglio, and my name is Yamato. I have been sent by my father as the avenger of evil to bring death to all rebels. No longer shall your robbery and murder hold my people in terror.
And with those noble words, Takaru fell back and did not rise again. After the death of his father's enemies, no others challenged the throne. Prince Yamato and his wife would return to Kyoku's palace to celebrate in their victory.
Long ago, there lived an old peasant couple. They were very poor. So, while the old man was up in the hills cutting grass for farmers, the old woman did household chores. One day, the old woman was washing clothes in the river when a great peach rolled downstream. She decided she wanted to bring it home to her husband. Because the peach was too far for her to grab, she chanted an old charm verse to help her. The old woman told the old man her story, but before they could cut the peach open, it split in two. The old woman and old man were very happy. They named their son Momotaro, or Son of a Peach. When Momotaro was 15, he told his family he had to leave. He admitted to being grateful for the both of them, but he had to defend an island from ancient devils and save the people. His parents were worried, but proud of him for being so brave. Hungry from his journey so far, Momotaro took a break to have a snack, but a huge dog interrupted him. The dog scolded him for passing his field without permission. It said its only way of not punishing him was to give him a piece of his rice cake. Momotaro just laughed and told the dog who he was and where he was going. The dog was embarrassed. Momotaro and the dog came upon an eager monkey and a helpful pheasant who also wanted to fight the devils. But the animals didn't get along. Eventually, separating them wasn't enough. Because they worked together, the army was able to defeat the devils. The treasure Momotaro brought home allowed his family to live in peace for the rest of their days. And the animals got as many rice cakes as they wanted.
The Bremen Town Musicians, read by Patrick Hall. A certain man had a donkey, which had carried corn sacks to the mill faithfully for many long years. But his strength was going, and he knew he was growing more and more unfit for work. The owner noticed how unhappy the donkey was, and he set the donkey free. The donkey, now happy, set out on the road to Bremen. There, he thought, I surely could be a town musician. When he walked some distance, he found a hound dog walking by himself.
Why are you by yourself, you big fellow?
Asked the donkey. Replied the hound.
As I am old, and I daily grow weaker, I can no longer hunt. So I decided to go on an adventure.
I'll tell you what,
Said the donkey.
I'm going to Bremen, and I shall be a musician there. Come with me and engage yourself as a musician. I will play the flute, and you shall beat the drum.
The hound agreed, and they went on. Before long, they came to a cat, sitting on a path, with a face like 3 rainy days.
What's wrong with you, kitty cat?
Asked the donkey.
I am getting old, and I spent my whole life inside a barn hunting mice.
Answered the cat.
So I chose to leave home and see the world. But I don't know where to go. Come with us to Bremen. You understand night music, so you could be a town musician.
The cat thought well of it, and went with them. After this, the 3 animals went to a farmyard, where a rooster was sitting upon a gate, crowing with all of his might.
Why are you making so much noise?
Said the donkey.
What is the matter? I am trying to get the barnyard animals' attention. I am leaving to see the world.
Said the rooster.
I am trying to say goodbye. We are going to Bremen.
Said the donkey.
You have a good voice. If we make music together, it might have some quality.
The rooster agreed with this plan, and all 4 went on together. They could not, however, reach the city of Bremen in one day, and in the evening they came to a forest where they meant to pass the night. The donkey and hound laid themselves down under a tree, and the cat and rooster settled themselves in the branches. But the rooster flew right to the top, where he knew he was going to be most safe. Before he went to sleep, he looked around and spotted a light in the distance. So he called out to his friends there might be a house not far off, as he saw a light. If so, we better get up and go on. Maybe they will have some food, the donkey said. They made their way to the place where the light was, and soon saw it shine brighter and grow larger until they came to a well-lit house. The donkey, as the biggest, went into the window and looked in.
What do you see, my gray horse?
Said the rooster.
What do I see? Answered the donkey with delight. A table covered with good things to eat and drink, and our old owners is sitting at it, enjoying themselves. Answered the donkey. That would be the sort of thing for us. Said the rooster. Yes, yes. Ah, the food looks so good I can almost taste it. Maybe if we impress our old friends, they will give us their food. Answered the donkey. So the animals got together and made a plan. The donkey boosted the rooster and the cat on the window ledge, and the dog hopped onto the donkey's back. The 4 barnyard animals sang, trying to impress their old friends. The donkey brayed, the hound barked, the cat meowed, and the rooster crowed as loud as he could.
Yeah.
Meow. The old friends, ever hearing such sound, became scared and took off into the night. The 4 companions now sat at the table, well content with what was left, and ate the remainder of the old friend's supper. As soon as the 4 animals done, each sought out for himself a sleeping place. The donkey slept on the rug in front of the fire, the dog laid curled up in front of the donkey, the cat laid on top of the donkey's back, and the rooster laid next to the cat. When it was past midnight, the old donkey's owner saw from afar the light was slightly burning from the house, and it all appeared quiet. The donkey's old owner told his friends, I should go check on the house and see if anyone is still there. The man peered through the window and saw no movement inside the house. The man went inside the house that was barely lit, so he could not see the bowl on the ground, and kicked it by accident. This woke up all the animals, and on the wall was a silhouette of a monster, casted by the animals getting up in fright. The man ran back as fast as he could to his friends and said,
I am never going back there again. There's a beast that resides in that house, and I saw it with my own 2 eyes, so I ran away as fast as I could.
After this, the old owners did not trust themselves inside that house again, but it was suited for the musicians of Bremen. The house fitted them so well, they all decided to stay. And as far as I know, those animals are still there to this day.
Little Snow White. Written by the Grimm brothers. Narration by Shayla, Rios. Who in this land is fairest of all? The magic mirror answered,
You, my queen, are the fairest of all.
And once when the queen asked her magic mirror, Magic mirror on the wall, who in this land is fairest of all? It answered, The knight took pity on her and said,
Here, take this amulet.
He placed a gold necklace in her hand that had a bright red gem in the center. Would curse you to be just as monstrous. and covered with snow-white counterpanes. For everything was not in the same order in which they had left it. The first said,
"Who has been sitting on my chair?"
The second,
"Who has been eating off my plate?"
the seventh, and he said,
"Who's been getting into my bed?"
The others came up and each called out,
"Somebody's been lying in my bed too!"
"Oh, oh!" they cried.
What a lovely child!
And so got through the night.
"My name is Little Snow White,"
she answered.
"How have you come to our house?"
said the dwarfs. The dwarf said,
"'Tis only a tale we tell to ward off trespassers. Surely we are no hideous beast."
The dwarfs proposed a deal to Little Snow White. "And if you will keep everything neat and clean, you may stay with us, and you shall want for nothing,"
"Yes,"
said Little Snow White.
"with all of my heart."
And she stayed with them. The maiden was alone the whole day, so the good dwarves warned her and said, She went to her magic mirror and said, The magic mirror answered, for that little Snow White had escaped the beasts and was still more beautiful than she. Little Snow White looked out the window and called,
My dear woman, what ails you?
My precious basket has fallen into the well. Please, help me fetch it.
She answered.
Little Snow White, how on earth did you fall in the well?
The dwarves asked. Said Little Snow White. When the dwarves heard what had happened, they said, But the wicked woman, when she had reached home, went in front of the mirror and asked, magic mirror on the wall, who in this land is the fairest of all? And it answered as before.
And none is as fair as she.
But now, she said, I will think of something that shall put an end to your beauty. And would pull Little Snow White's hair out as soon as she used it.
Good things to sell. Cheap, cheap.
Little Snow White looked out and said,
Go away. I cannot let anyone come in.
I suppose you may look,
said the old woman, and pulled the comb out and held it up. It pleased the maiden so well that she let herself be tricked and opened the door. When they had made a bargain, the old woman said,
Now I shall comb you properly for once.
Poor Little Snow White had no suspicion and let the old woman do as she pleased. But hardly had she begun to comb, and Little Snow White's hair was slashed to shreds.
You illustration of beauty,
said the wicked woman.
You are done for now.
And then she went away.
Snow White, what has become of your hair? Another old woman deceived me into using a cursed comb. But fret not, for I sold my hair and used the earnings to make this feast.
The queen, at home, went in front of the mirror and said, magic mirror on the wall, who in this land is the fairest of all? Then it answered as before. When she heard the mirror speak, she trembled and shook with rage.
Little Snow White shall know what it feels like to lose her beauty,
she cried,
even if it cost me my own.
7 dwarfs have forbidden me.
It's all the same to me,
answered the woman.
I shall soon get rid of my apples. There, I'll give you one.
No, said little Snow White. I dare not take anything.
Are you afraid of poison?
Said the old woman.
Look, I will cut the apple into 2 pieces. You eat the red cheek, and I'll eat the white.
The apple was so sneakily made that only the red cheek was cursed. Little Snow White longed for the fine apple, and when she saw that the woman ate part of it, she could no longer resist. She stretched out her hand and took the cursed half, but she had hardly had a bit of it in her mouth, and she vanished as if she were never there. Then the queen looked at her with a dreadful look and laughed aloud and said, and when she asked the magic mirror at home, it answered at last,
O Queen, in this land, you are fairest of all.
Little Snow White called out to the 7 dwarfs, but to no avail. They could not see her. However, she was determined not to be forgotten forever. She thought if she could get at least one person to see her, then she could be saved from this horrible fate. And there was but one person who she knew would remember her. Her father. Little Snow White ran with all of her might out of the ogre's forest and back to her castle. She wept and she wept until she heard someone enter the room. It was the queen. She went before her magic mirror and said, magic mirror on the wall, who in this land is fairest of all?" The glass answered, and little Snow White became visible once more. When the wicked queen saw little Snow White's reflection now behind her, been broken, she fell to the floor and crawled away to the ogre's forest, where she would live out the rest of her days in shame. From that day on, little Snow White became the new queen, and she lived happily ever after.